Today we are still learning about our prairie ecosystem, but we're going to talk about the interdependence on the prairie. So interdependence means that everybody needs each other to survive, just like we learned in the Ice Age and the Amazon rainforest, how all the animals needed each other. And if one person could not do their job, then everybody would be all out of whack or out of balance. Every animal and plant is important to the delicate balance of the whole prairie ecosystem. Oh, I see something here that we learned in math. That's a scale. If one of these living things disappears, then the whole ecosystem will change. Everyone needs each other to survive. Let's talk about the prairie animal, the prairie dog. Without knowing it, this little guy that's so super cute helps the whole ecosystem. Because the prairie dogs dig long underground tunnels, well, these tunnels are called burrows. How do you think living underground helps prairie dogs? What do the tunnels shelter them from? These tunnels keep them safe. Many predators on the prairie, like coyotes, ferrets, and hawks, depend on prairie dogs as a source of food. Underground burrows help protect prairie dogs from becoming a tasty snack for these predators. So they're like hiding in their little tunnel, and it keeps them safe. Prairie dog tunnels are important for the whole ecosystem. When prairie dogs migrate to a new area, the tunnels they leave behind become shelters for other animals, such as burrowing owls and badgers. More than 150 kinds of animals use prairie dog burrows for protection from predators and to stay warm during the cold prairie winters. So the prairie dogs are digging these tunnels, and then when they're moving to a new area and building a new tunnel, the old tunnels are used by other animals. That's super helpful, and they're keeping other animals safe too. Prairie dogs' burrows also help prairie plants. When prairie dogs dig holes in the dirt, it brings air to the soil and allows water to soak through. Their waste adds nutrients. With all the extra air, water, and nutrients in the soil, plants like grass can grow big and strong. So their tunnels are letting air and water into the soil, which is making things grow big and strong. That's cool. How do you think the grass and all of the other plants help the ecosystem? Deep grass roots hold the soil together. Without these roots, the soil could wash away in the rain or blow away when it's dry and windy and that huge tornado comes. By keeping the soil in place, prairie grasses allow other plants to grow. Grasses also provide food for herbivores like the pronghorn antelope that we see right here. If prairie dogs disappeared, what would happen to the other plants and animals? If they disappeared from the prairie, the whole ecosystem would fall out of balance. And you see our scale over here is tipped over. It's not balanced in the middle because the prairie dog is not there anymore. Without the prairie dog, all of the animals such as badgers and burrowing owls that depend on the prairie dog burrows for shelter would struggle to hide from predators or stay warm in the winter. Don't forget, the prairie dog is building all of these tunnels and then leaving them for other animals. So without the prairie dog, the other animals won't have a home. What's more, without the air, water, and nutrients from prairie dog burrows, grasses and other plants would not grow. Since the grass roots hold together the soil, the dirt that plants need to grow could even blow away in the wind, turning the prairie into a desert. What would happen to the herbivores if there were fewer plants? If all of these plants went away or died, what would happen to the animals that need to eat them? With fewer plants to eat, herbivores would struggle to find enough food. Many of these animals would leave the prairie to find other places with enough animals to eat. And with fewer herbivores and other prey animals on the prairie, what do you think would happen to the carnivores like the coyote? So here's what would happen. Without prairie dogs, the plants would not get enough nutrients and air and water, so they'll die. And then when the plants die, the herbivores have to leave the prairie to find food somewhere else. And then if there are no herbivores, there is less food for the carnivores like the coyote. And it all starts with the prairie dog. If the prairie dogs disappeared, it would affect the whole ecosystem, from the plants to the herbivores to the carnivores. Scientists are working on preserving prairie dog lands so this doesn't happen. And by doing so, they're protecting the entire ecosystem. All of the animals and plants in the prairie contribute to the ecosystem. This means that they are interdependent. They need each other to survive in their ecosystem. Think about the other ecosystems that we learned about. Do you remember how they are interdependent in the rainforest or the ocean? Let's go over our words. We'll count our syllables. Prairie dog burrow. Prairie dog burrow. Whew, that was a big one. Prairie, prairie. Prairie dog, prairie dog. Grass, grass. Coyote, coyote. Pronghorn, pronghorn. Badger, badger. Roots, roots. Desert, desert. All right, boys and girls, when you're writing your message today, think about the most interesting thing that you learned about. And that will be your message. So what was really cool?